We are starting a Maamar on that was said on Shabbos Parshas Pekudei in 1965. Adar Sheni, based Adar Sheni, the 2nd of Adar, and the opening verse of the Maamar is Eile Pekudei HaMishkan Mishkan Oedus. So this week Parshas Pekudei, Eile Pekudei HaMishkan Mishkan Oedus Asher Pukad Al Pi Menashe Avedas HaLevim Biyad Isamo Ben Aaron HaKohen. Let me see the Chayin. Oh, here we have. So he writes, these are the accounts of the dwelling, the dwelling of the testimony, that were calculated according to Moshe's instructions for the work of the Levim under the direction of Isamo, the son of Aaron, the priest. So Rashi tells us what happens over here. What is the pasuk says? These are the accounts in this section, the weights of all the contributions for the dwelling of silver, gold, and copper are enumerated. They made an accounting of how much gold they got, how much silver, how much weight of copper. And also all its vessels for all aspects of its service are enumerated. So what's the word Pekudei means? Accounts, right? The quantities of the materials and the number of vessels used for the construction of the dwelling, and not appointments, as may also be its meaning, for we do not find any appointment stated here. Okay.
Why is it important that tell us that they did this calculation?
Why we need to know the numbers?
You want to show that some Jews over there, everybody, this is, you're stealing or something. So Moshe's given an accounting to say everything we got, we used, and here it is. I think that's more the plain meaning. Is probably more of a deeper meaning that I don't know. Maybe we'll learn.
Also, I think it's for previous generation, for the next generations to build a Mishkan. You need to tell them what it takes to do it, right? If you built the house and you kept a record of all the materials that you bought, so you say, in material, it's costed me this amount. What materials? I bought this much of wood, this much of concrete, this much of drywall, this much of plumbing. So, but the reason that he said, that's the reason I heard all along, that he said, look, I didn't take anything to myself, everything, not that Moshe would be suspected of taking anything for himself, but he kept a record of everything. Alter Rebbe's Likutei Torah explains, Shemishkan Ha'edus, so we're now moving, we learned last week, in the Maamar of last week, we learned that Pekudei was written in Likutei Torah. Vayakel is the last parsha in Torah, and Pekudei is jumping into Likutei Torah, the next Alter Rebbe's book about the weekly parsha. So he explains in Likutei Torah, Shemishkan Ha'edus hu inyan yichud ha'elah.
I wonder if they had this simple Chassidus has the pamphlet on.
So he calls it what? He calls it Mishkan Ha'edus. Eile Pekudei HaMishkan, these are the accounts of the dwelling. Which dwelling? The dwelling of the testimony, right? Mishkan Ha'edus. So it says in Likutei Torah, what is Mishkan Ha'edus? What is the dwelling of the testimony? U'inyan yichudo ilah. What is yichudo ilah? Supernal union. It's the unity of Hashem and the nullifications of the world to godliness in the highest level. I mean, there is nullification and there is nullification, different level of bitul. Yichud Oilo is the higher level of Bittul. Yichud Yud Kei, Sheva Pasuk Shema Yisrael. What do you say? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, right? Yud Kei, Vav Kei. You have the 4 letters of Hashem, right? In Hashem's name. Letter Yud and the letter Hey, the first Yud and Hey represents the upper union, the higher union. Yichud Oilo. Yichud Yud Kei, Sheba Pasuk Shema Yisrael. Pekudei Mishkan. What is Pekudei Mishkan? The first one, because the Pasuk says twice the word Mishkan. El Pekudei Mishkan, Mishkan or Eidus. What is Pekudei Mishkan? Uinyan Yichud Atator. So the first one is Yichud Atator. The second one is Yichud Oilo. Mishkan or Eidus in the verse is the upper union. Pekudei Mishkan Yichud Atator. It's the nullification of the world's godliness on the lower level. Yichud Vav and Hey. Right, in the name of Hashem, you have Yud Kei and Vav Kei. So Vav Kei is Yichud Atator, the lower union, and the Yud and the Hey is Yichud Oilo. Sheu Pasuk V'avto es Hashem Elokecho. Where do we see Yichud Atator? When we say V'avto es Hashem, right, in Shema Yisrael you say V'avto es Hashem Elokecho. V'avto es Hashem is already speaking about Yichud Atator, the low union. First Shema is Yichud Oilo. V'avto, the first paragraph of the Shema, is already Yichud Atator. Pasuk V'avto Shunyan Ava Nimshechas Masechel V'atam. What is V'avto? Is love. In order to have love, it has to have intellect. It has to have your logic, your understanding, your reasoning. And that's why it's a lower level. Because it comes from you. It comes from a limited place. The more understanding you have, the more ava you can develop. The more love you can arouse. One guy has less, one guy has more. But regardless of the amount of intellect, it's always going to be limited.
Yeah.
So it's called Yichud Atator. Achina Kedim Kriyat Shema. Before the Kriyat Shema, before we get to Kriyat Shema, which now when we know that what is Kriyat Shema representing is Yichud Oilo and Yichud Atator, the upper union, the lower union. Tiknu Anshe Knesset Agdolo, the assembly of the Jewish people, Tiknu Anshe Knesset Agdolo, what did they enacted? They instituted Psukei de Zimra. The chapters that are preceding, right? To get to Kriyat Shema is all the Psukei de Zimra, is the praising and the singing to Hashem, as Yoshir Moshe and so on, Ishtabach. Shezeu inyan Aveidas HaLevim b'shir v'zimra b'rotze v'shoiv. And that was primarily the Avodah, the service of the Levim, that they used to sing b'shir v'zimra. Rotze v'shoiv. Rotze v'shoiv, we saw it many times. We spoke about the concept of Rotze v'shoiv. Originally, this statement, Rotze v'shoiv, comes from Yechezkel. Because in the prophecy of Yechezkel, he says V'achayos, which is referring to the angels. He uses the word V'achayos. And it says, or Chayos HaKodesh, it says V'achayos Rotze v'shoiv. So it means that on one aspect, they have a desire, a strong passion, and a strong will to be elevated on high, that's the Ratzoi. And on the other hand, they have also the godly intention, Kavanah, the godly intention is to do what they need to do. That's a shoiv. It's where I want to be and where I am, what I need to do. It's the ideal versus what I need to do. The ideal is I want to be there. And the job is, I got to do this. That's the show.
Like the example you gave me, I have to clean the what? Privada? The toilet? You gave me the example.
That's the show. You got to do what you got to do.
Why I have to do this?
So similarly, in our Avodas Hashem, when we serve Hashem, every Jew needs to have this feeling of wanting to get closer to Hashem, right? And to be connected with godliness, up to even Klois HaNefesh, to the soul living almost getting to the point of the soul leaving the body, Rotzei. But on the other hand, the neshama has what to accomplish in this world. That's the shoiv, the avodah of the neshama in the world.
The translation of the word shov is
return. No, return. Return. Yeah.
So it's like
Lashuv means to come back.
Okay.
Yeah. And so these, I would say, these emotions of, or these motions of Rotze v'Shoiv is expressed in Psukei de Zimra, primarily. When we read Az Yoshir, Ishtabach, from Baruch Shomer all the way to Shema. Yeah.
It's very weird in the Ashkenazic davening, huh? The Seder of that, especially on Shabbos.
It's different, yeah.
They start with Baruch Shemar. We're saying Baruch Shemar after Shir Malos.
Right. Hoidu, and Hoidu leads to Baruch Shema. By them it starts with Baruch Shema, right?
Right. So first they say Rabbi Shmuel, then Kaddish, then Mizmor LeDavid,
right.
Kaddish, then Hodu, then Baruch Shemar. Anyways.
So he writes Shazoi, this singing and praising Hashem in Psukei de Zimra. What is the objective of it? Is to connect to Elikus, to cling to Elikus, to cling to godliness. And that's the achono, that's the preparation, l'roi mimanefesh, to uplift the soul, ad shetuchal liyached hayichud d'kriyat Shema, until it reaches the understanding, the recognition, in the unity of Hashem and the nullifications of the world, bitul oilomos, to godliness, in the higher level of Yichud Eloh. But then, what is the Tachlis HaKavana? What is the ultimate goal? Tachlis HaKavana, hilamshich rotze v'sheva na'al. The godly purpose that we have to accomplish in our Avodas Hashem, in serving Hashem, is to bring down, so to speak, these godly motions of Rotze v'Shoiv into the world, into the limitations of the world. V'chinas kli, in a vessel that contains these opposing emotions. V'ainu al yedei limud ha'Torah v'chinas bitul. Through, how can we accomplish it? Make a kli that has these two seeming contradiction, or paradoxical emotions, right? One is to get out, one is to accomplish. There's learning Torah, but not just learning Torah, but learning Torah with bitul, nullifying yourself. It's written, biyadi somo. What is this somo? It was the son of Aaron. It was done by Yisomo, the son of Aaron. So it says Miloshin Itmar, that is written in the Gemara. Itmar, this Loshin Itmar is constantly written in the Gemara, right? What is the meaning of Itmar? Shepirushe Shemimele Itmar v'nidba. The expression Itmar, it was said without mentioning who said it. That's when it says Itmar, it was said. The Brisa said, Itmar.
It's bitul.
Meaning, no, it means that the words, yeah, bitul, but it says the word was said by default, without effort. They were said automatically. I knew shadibur shel adam b'tachlis habitul, that the dibur, the speech of man, is in the ultimate nullification. It's not coming from him. So he becomes, we mentioned it a few times, that the person becomes like the words that I have placed in your mouth. is merely a pipe that carries it out. He's not. He doesn't put anything of his own. It's אלא נדמה בדבר הווי זה הלכה ממילא ומאלוב. It's the words of Hashem. ממילא ומאלוב. It's as if it was said by itself. וזהו עניין ודיברת בו. שלאחר ואהבת. After ואהבת we say the word ודיברת בו. Why? Because the emotion of the feeling of Avas Hashem that you can awake in the Shema, you have to bring down. You have to bring it. You have to do it in such a way that it will be expressed in the learning of the Torah through an nullification. How is it being done? Through Isomo. What was the inyan of Aaron HaKohen? Avorabo, the great love. V'hu, Aaron HaKohen is the one, HaMamshich, the one who brings down. HaKoyach hazeh liya is kol seder ha'aveda hazeh. So Aaron is the one that enables us. Is the Mamshich, is the one that brings it down. The Seder Aved, this order of Avodas Hashem that starts off with Rotze v'Shoev, and ultimately coming to the drawdown of Yichud Tato, Yichud Elo, and Kriyat Shema, the upper and the lower union, and that it will be expressed in how we learn Torah, how we approach the Torah. That's through Aaron HaKohen. Umesayim, and the Alter Rebbe ending the quote of the Likutei Torah, Shaldei Bechinas Aaron, through the level of Aaron, Shuinyan Avorabo, which is speaking about the great love. Avorabo, Aaron represents the Avorabo. Nimshach HaKeach L'Yisaruso Delatata. That's what enables us to do the awakening from below. That we would have the initiative to get closer to Hashem. So this is given to us by Aaron. Aaron is the Mamshich, is the one that brings it down. So this is the end of quote from Likutei Torah. ויש לכאשר עניין זה מדרו שבתחילת הליקוטי תורה על ספר שמייס דיבור המתחיל ראו כי הווי נוסע לכם השבס. It says we can connect this with the teaching, meaning that we have an esinas koyach, we're getting some kind of an outer force, we are being infused with an outer force to bring us to Isarusa Delatato, then enabled us to have the awakening with the teaching in Likutei Torah on Sefer Shmois. What does it say over there? In the Dibur Matri Reu Ki Havai Nos Lachem Shabbos, look, Hashem have given you the Shabbos, Din Yadu Binyan Achiluk Sheben Shtam Madrigas Be'avo. There's difference. We know the chiluk, the distinction between two levels of Avo. There's two levels of Avos Hashem. Avos Selom Ba'avo Rabba, worldly love and the great love. Okay? Avos Selom Yavos Shnikachas Me'elomis. What is Avos Selom? Is love that is taken from the worlds. Ainu. You contemplate on the godly energy, a godly vitality that gives life to the world. You contemplate on it and you come to Avos Hashem. That's Avos Olam, because it's born from the world. It's coming from the world. You looked at the world and said, wow, who did this? Who did that? Look, your contemplation leads to where did you get your contemplation was based on worldly things, what you see, what you understand, and that brings you to Avos Olam, the worldly love. When you understand that really everything that you see is getting life from Hashem, is being infused with godly energy, that awakens the love to Hashem. And since the world is limited, the world is limited, so the love that would come from contemplating on the world will be limited also. Now, Masheinkin Avo Rabba, when you come to Avo Rabba, Yavo Bilti Mugbeles. The great love is not a limited love. It's not coming through its boinenus. That Hashem gives life to the worlds and so on. This love is above intellect. Mitzad etzem hanefesh. It comes from the essence of the soul.
So it's there all the time, but because we got a holy soul that.
Right.
But how do we feel this? If
It's not limited to sechel el bligbu. It's an unlimited love. Once it's awakened, once it's revealed, it's much stronger than Avos Seilum.
Yesterday I was talking to somebody. I said, if we all would do the brachas, we're supposed to do 100 brachas. If we did the brachas and we realized that we're doing the bracha because Hashem gave us the coffee, Hashem gave us the cake, Hashem, the whole thing. And if you're saying the brachas, then it helps you to get to this etzem.
How do we know this is not the Ahavat Olam?
No, but for some, I'm not saying a word. I'm saying for some of us, it would help to get to that level if we did the basics.
You'll see. This is also the distinction between the days of the week and the days of Shabbos, the day of Shabbos. During the week, you have the 39 melachos. You got to be involved with the world, planting, sowing, harvesting. What was the purpose of the 39 melachos? Primarily, it was to build the Mishkan, to build the sanctuary. And then from these melachos, originally these 39 melachos, what came out of it? That there's businesses that are doing plumbing, electric, they're doing carpentry, and so on. Once it's descended from these melachos, it came from these melachos. So in other words, these melachos did not exist before the 39 melachos of the Mishkan came into place. In order to build the Mishkan, I needed to do carpentry, I needed to do carving, I needed to do sculpturing, I needed to do whatever, all the melachos, different type of work with the metals, and worldly jobs similar, it came from that, and once they generated from the Mishkan, they are no longer obviously the work of the Mishkan, rather they are worldly matters, Meloshe and Elam Vester. It's meaning it's even concealing godliness. Therefore, we need to work on ourselves to come to this state. We have to constantly have in mind that whatever we are doing in the world should be l'shem shamayim, should be for the sake of Hashem. As it says in Mishlei, in all your ways, you should know Hashem. Because you have to constantly think about it, because the act that you do is seemingly has nothing to do with the Mishkan. You're not building, it's not really, although it's originated from originally it's originated from the Mishkan, but you don't see it. Well, I'm putting two bricks together, I'm building a room, it's not, I don't connect it with the Mishkan. But you have to work on yourself to connect it with the Shem Shamayim. So this approach of how to deal with chulin, with mundane, with the days of the week, it starts off with the understanding that the primary work and the purpose of these melachos were in order to build the Mishkan. So in essence, all the different types of professions are here to serve Hashem in one way or another. Ve'ad shalidei isbonus b'chayis elikis v'chayis ha'olam, by the contemplation or contemplating that the godly energy gives life to the world. So someone that is doing his work is now aware of the fact that the entire existence of the world is from a godly energy. Yovel Avas Hashem will come to Avas Hashem. Shezoi b'chinas Avas Eilom. This is titled Avas Eilom, worldly love. Kanis Kalel, as we mentioned earlier. Mashein can be a Shabbos when it comes to the Shabbos. Shabbos Risasik Binyan Eilom. You're not allowed to do the 39 Melochos anymore. So much so that even physical things, achilo, shtia, eating, drinking, lo rak l'shem shomayim, elam atzum nasim inyan shemitzvah le'angoy. It's not just l'shem shomayim. During Shabbos, it's not just I'm eating l'shem shomayim. Rather, physical eating and drinking, nasim inyan shel mitzvah, they become mitzvah. And not I'm doing it for the sake of Hashem. This is the mitzvah. To eat and drink on Shabbos is the mitzvah by itself. It's a mitzvah to do it. To make karosel Shabbos oinig, you have to make the Shabbos as a pleasurable day. By eating and drinking. In a gam avas Hashem, when it comes to avas Hashem that is associated with Shabbos, it's not coming through isboinus that is associated with the world. It's avas Hashem that is higher than the existence of the world. So avas Hashem on Shabbos is avo. Is avo, that is love that is not connected with the world, is not limited by the world.
Even if you connect to the Gashmiut, because
the Gashmiut itself becomes a mitzvah. When it comes to the spiritual service of Shabbos, the uplifted spiritual work of Shabbos. Nema re'u ki avai nosnachem Shabbos. It says re'u, see, Hashem have given you the Shabbos. Re'u daike. It says specifically the word re'u, see. It's something that is no more oilom. It's no more concealment. It's something that you can see vividly. Shenira begilui. We saw it in they saw it clearly when it came to the manna that descended from heaven in the desert. What does it say? See that Hashem have given you the Shabbos. In the Parshas Aman it says, therefore He's giving you on Friday double portion. The Omer was kaful, was double. One for Friday and one for Shabbos, right? We see that all the inyanim of Shabbos, all the things that we do on Shabbos are double. Double challah, kiddush, more eating, more drinking.
If you give $1 every day, it's good to give $2 on
Friday, yeah.
It's imitating Hashem.
Rabbi said to give also before lighting the candles. Your wife should give before lighting the candles. Eating and drinking on Shabbos, eating fatty meat and good wine. So from this, it's also understood that the Ava of Shabbos is referring to the Ava, to the great love. That it's much superior, much greater than Ava Salem, than the worldly love. V'od is the kivan Shavai nos lachem Shabbos, since Avaya is the one who gave you the Shabbos. Who gave you the Shabbos? Hashem. Haynu shezeu inyan shenitan milamayla. It's something that is given from above. It's not dependent on your capabilities. It was given to you. Aziv shalite she'enu shachas. You can't say you are unable to attain this level. It was given to you, so obviously you are capable of doing it. If Hashem is causing me to win the lottery, so do I do with so much money? So how? So if He gave it to you, meaning you got the kli, you have the proper, you have the capabilities of handling it.
Shayach is belong, so you can't say you don't belong.
It's connected with you. It's a shachus to you. As I if shalitan shenu shach laze, a halt nit thereby, meaning he's not grabbing on it. He's not grabbing it. He didn't reach this level. When anything that is given from above, when it comes from above, they don't care about your state. If they're giving it to you, they're giving it to you. But I'm not holding them. So you're not. It's like a child is getting an inheritance. So I'm not holding them. Couldn't care less. Your father left you A and B and C. That's it. You're getting it. It says it's known, Nechsidus, it mentions Sefer Mitzvahs, regarding the chibur, the connection between the upper and the lower. When the connection is being done. When the upper one is coming down, I can connect with you. It's either you come to me or I come to you, right? So it says when the higher one comes to the lower one, and then the connection is created, the bond is created. Then it doesn't make a difference in what state the tachten was, the lower one was. If it was in level 5 or level 6, it doesn't make a difference. The upper one is coming down to you. If the king decides to come to your house, who can stop him? No one can stop him. Trump decides tomorrow, I want to go to Boca Green, I want to come to your house. Can anybody say no? But Boca Green is not
the gate.
No, but I'm saying Boca Green is going to say it's not a country club, it's not a big community. So I don't care. I'm coming down to him. If it comes down, if you're level 3 or level 10, it doesn't make a difference.
Especially Boca Green.
Who can stop him? Rabbi Rashab in his series of Hasidic discourses, Tafresh Mem Gimel, speaks about it. When you have a bechina, when you have a level that is drawn from above, there's no mania, none can stop it. And even if the lower one is still not pure, is still not refined, it comes down. Take, for example, two people. One is on the top of the mountain, and one is in the bottom of the mountain. There's two ways of them coming together. Either the lower one is climbing up, or the one that is on top, or comes down. But for the one that is in the bottom, it's much harder to climb to the top. He has to face. He has to face. Yeah, but still, who is going to exert more effort?
The guy coming up.
Exactly.
Running downhill exerts a lot of
stopping. More people died coming down from Mount Everest than going up to Mount Everest.
Right.
And when you're running downhill, it's really hard to stop yourself.
Okay, so take the example of being on the 20th floor and the guy is on the first floor. So we say, let's meet at the 10th floor. Who is going to be sweating more?
The guy that went up.
Exactly.
Shit.
It says when it comes to Hashem, when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when it comes to God, it says in Keheles, who can tell you, Shlomo Maamar says, who can tell you what to do? If God decides to come down, He comes down. Hashem decides to come down, He comes down, whether the Jews were prepared. Some say that they should have waited up, they went to sleep. right? That's why we stay up on Shavuos. He still came down. Vayered Aval al Sinai. V'hine Kishem Shizbor B'likut Teros Togimel. V'hine Kishem Shizbor B'likut Teros of Parshas Pekudei v'negia l'Avo Rabo. In the Kutero of Parshas Pekudei, the Alter Rebbe speaks about Avo Rabo, about the great love, which is the level of Aaron HaKohen. Shemizeh nimshach hakech le'islarus deletatu. This Avo Rabo that you have embedded in your essence, in your core, it actually gives you the power to do the awakening, to initiate things from below. Spiritual effort from below is generated from this great love that we have to Hashem. Keinu gam binyan Shabbos. This is also when it comes to Shabbos. Shabbos, the Mila, the greatness of Shabbos is very great, is very lofty. What is the level of Avo? On Shabbos is Avo Rabo, is the great love. Meaning that to love Hashem without limitations. Nacholo bli mitzorim, it says, without limitation. It's inheritance that has no limitation. What is Shabbos? Shabbos is inheritance without limitations. So it's also connected with Avo Rabo, the great love that has no limitations. In Aikar v'tachlis v'anesinas koyach. What is the most important thing? The Ikar and the tachlis and the purpose is of a flow that comes from above. What is the purpose of energy that comes from above? Is the powers that Shabbos gives me that I can serve Hashem during the week. That's the purpose of the Giluyim, of the revelations that are coming on Shabbos. The purpose of these revelations is Nesinas Koach, is giving me the power to do things during the week.
In the previous, let's say, discourse, you talked about how on Shabbat it's mainly elevating the work that you did, but it also had a note and said that it also brings down.
Right.
So this is what it's bringing down.
Right. Yeah, but the point is what I do with it. So you have all this Giluim, all these revelations of Shabbos, the elevations and so on, but how do I utilize it during the week? And it says the Ikar, V'atachlis, the most important thing is that we're giving you powers to initiate from below, to do things in this world, to do things during the week. When is the time that you are active? During the week. Shabbos is menucha, right? Shabbos is resting. I understand during the weekdays, you have to think and prepare for Shabbos and plan for Shabbos, right? Because in order for us to be able to receive the revelation, I have to prepare. Mishatoach be'erev Shabbos, it said if you worked and you toiled before Shabbos, be able to eat on Shabbos. Not physically eat, also spiritually. If you prepared yourself spiritually to Shabbos, you're able to contain the lights of Shabbos.
Also physically.
Yeah, physically and spiritually. It's written in I'm attracted of Avodah Mishatoach be'erev Shabbos, Yerecha b'Shabbos. You worked during the week, you will be able to eat on Shabbos. Once you're already there, you elevated to the spiritual state of Shabbos, you're holding there. This is a state that is completely greater than the days of the week. So you have, let's say you did work 1 to 0, 1 to 10 during the week, and you come to Shabbos, you come to level 100. It says there's no connection, but seemingly, if I'm at level 100, there's no connection between the 1 to 10 that I did, because I'm at 100 on Shabbos. That's why you write, it says, once you're already reaching the Ilui, the elevation of Shabbos, the greatness of Shabbos, it's a state that has no connections with the days of the week, with what you did during the week. So in one way, Shabbos, if you worked before Shabbos, you will eat on Shabbos. But on the other hand, all the work that I did is irrelevant to the revelation of Shabbos. It's so much greater that there's no in a way, there's no connection to what I did during the week. It's like Hashem tells you, you do a little bit of work, but what you're going to receive, it's insignificant. Like all these things that you did, it's insignificant to that state. So in a way, we don't really have, on Shabbos, we really don't have a connection with the weekday. Ubifrat, because if I say that during the week, that the days of the week are connected with Shabbos, then they are leading to Shabbos. Then they are somewhat comparable to Shabbos. But if I say Shabbos is so much greater than the days of the week, then they're not. There's no connection between the days of the week and Shabbos, because Shabbos is so much greater.
It's both. It's two different hands. One
Let's see.
But if you don't respect Shabbos, you don't get this pleasure.
You're definitely missing out. There's no doubt about it. You're missing out. If you're not preparing during the week, you're missing out on Shabbos spiritually.
Also, the Neshama Yetira doesn't come.
Imagine a guy comes, goes to mikvah at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He prepares for Shabbos. He sits down. He goes over the parsha, Shnai Mikvah Echad Targum, and he comes to Shabbos. He comes to Shabbos is prepared. We learn it before Shabbos. He davens mincha slowly. He said the korbanos. And then there's another guy who, a second before Shabbos, he parks his car, runs into shul. There's a big difference, right?
Last night, Rabbi Goldberg gave a little Devar Torah, so that's the sheet, saying that in science it proved that your week cycles through, your sleep cycles through the week. So there's a concept of if you sleep on the weekend, you can make up for the lack of sleep you had throughout the week. But a lot of people think that what they do, it's on Shabbos is to get to sleep so that they can go to work and be energized for the week. But there's also a concept of everything you do throughout the week leads to being here right now in this. So that's the sheets are like, let's savor, because everything leads up to Shabbos. Shabbos is the goal of the whole week. Not we do Shabbos so that we can go to the week, but we do the week so we can get to it.
So is it really the week feeds Shabbos, or Shabbos feeds the week?
Both.
Yeah. When it says regarding the man, it says Hashem have given you the Shabbos. Havaye daika. Specifically, it says Havaye. Yud Kei Vav Kei. It didn't say Elokim giving you the Shabbos. It says Havaye giving you the Shabbos. Shulamayla Mishem Elokim, which we know that Havaye is higher. The name Havaye is higher than Shem Elokim Sheshayach Lebrias Ha'olam. The name Elokim is Tzimtzum, is the level of the attribute of Tzimtzum, of contraction, concealment. Right. And Hashem concealed and contracted His infinite light to create the world. In the creation of the world, 32 times the name Elokim in Bereshis. To tell you that the contractions that needed to take place in order to create the world. 32. The concealment. Yeah, 32.
The contractions also like the halacha, like you contracted the halacha based on the Torah. It's like it's what you took out of it.
No, when we say tzimtzum is a reference to I have to contract myself in order to give you. I'm not giving it to you directly. So you have a godly energy that needs to be condensed and concealed in order for the other side to receive it, and then the level B has to contract itself in order to give level C, and so on until it gets to the world. So over here it says written 30 times the name Elokim, 32 times the name Elokim. Even it says after the completion of creation, what does it say? Ne'emar bayoim asois avaye Elokim eretz v'shamayim. So we see it again, the name Elokim associated with Bria, with the creation. V'ilukan, when it comes to Shabbos, it says v'ne'emar, v'ilukan ne'emar, ki avaye nosan lachem ha-Shabbos, avaye bilvad, only the name avaye is mentioned. Not like creation b'yom asois avaye Elokim. On Shabbos it says avaye by itself. There's another emphasis on the greatness of Shabbos in comparison to the days of the week. So the question is becoming even more, why at such elevated time it gives me, what did we say, Shabbos is Nesinas Koyach, is giving me power for the weekdays. Such a lofty days, I'm taking it for the weekdays. So, like, so to speak, wasting it on the weekdays. It says Nosan Daiko. It says Nosan. What is Nosan? Loshen Matana. It says it's an expression of gift. Matana is a gift. You're giving somebody a gift. Al pi Amvur Mokim Acher, it's written in Sefer Mitzvahs. There are 3 levels in regards to Shabbos. Madrega Rishona, the first level, Shebo al yedei aveda ve'igio. The first level of Shabbos, it's the level that comes after work, after toiling during the week, to enable you, to make you a kli, to intercept the godly energy of Shabbos. Okay? The work that comes after this first level comes after the avodah v'igya, comes after the effort that you put in during the week. As we said before, Mishatorach be'erev Shabbos, the Gemara in Avodah Zorah, Mishatorach be'erev Shabbos, yechal b'Shabbos. You torach, you worked hard, you'll be able to eat on Shabbos. And then it says in Parsha Kisiso, v'shomu b'nei Yisrael Shabbos, lasis Shabbos. And they should guard Bnei Yisrael. Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, should guard the Shabbos, lasis Shabbos, to do the Shabbos. Meaning that the Shabbos day is being activated through the work of the Jewish people. That's the first level. Madrega Shniya, the second level, is the Shabbos Mikacha V'Kaim. Shabbos doesn't need you, as the Gemara in Beitza says, Shabbos doesn't need you to make it holy, it's holy by itself. Mikacha V'Kaim, meaning its existing sanctity is there. Whether I kept Shabbos or I didn't keep Shabbos, Shabbos itself is holy. I can make Shabbos unholy. I can make it to myself that I'm not, God forbid, keeping Shabbos properly. But Shabbos itself, the day is holy. I can't play with it. The day itself is sacred.
Like Yom Kippur.
Yeah. For example, the rabbis says Yomim Tovim, for example, Pesach, Sukkot, and Shavuot. The rabbis decided that on the 15th, by the moon, that they created the calendar, and they said the Rosh Chodesh is going to happen, let's say, on Wednesday or Thursday, and now we're going to count 15 days, and then it's Pesach. So who made Pesach? The day of Pesach, the rabbis decided when Pesach is going to be. Who decided when Sukkot is going to be? The rabbis.
Not Shabbat.
But not Shabbat. Shabbat Mikacha V'Kaim. Shabbat has its own Kedusha. From the 6 days of creation, Shabbos, it's the day. When the other holidays, the Chachamim are the one that decided when the holiday. Even Yom Kippur, they decided when Yom Kippur is going to be. Because if, for example, they said that today is Rosh Chodesh, there's a big ramifications to it. They said today is Rosh Chodesh, then you count 10 days, and you come to Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur even can change of when is Yom Kippur. Like the Machloket in the Gemara that I mentioned, between the two rabbis, when is Yom Kippur? On Shabbat there's no arguments. But what is the inner meaning of this? That the second level of Shabbat, it's a level that is not dependent on human beings. The Kedusha of Shabbos, on its first level, we said it has to do with your work. Your preparation for Shabbos. You make the Shabbos. You set the table, you bring wine, you cooked, you prepared, physically and spiritually. You made the Shabbos. Last is a Shabbos. Last is a Shabbos. We made it. And the second level is Shabbos doesn't need you. Shabbos is holy by itself. It's not dependent on your work, on Aveda Soda. And the third level, is the gift of Shabbos. Maamar was saying Uzal, it's written in Tractate Shabbos, it's written that I have one gift in my house of treasures, in my treasury, and it's called Shabbos.
Also doesn't depend on us.
Yeah. So Shabbos is a gift that is coming from above.
Yeah, but some people don't understand this.
I know, unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately. They think Shabbos is a restriction. Like I said, in the Far East, one girl, became a Baal Tshuva. She started keeping Shabbos. She was sitting in the Chabad house, and another girl comes and said, "What? You can't smoke. You can't drive. You can't do all these things. It's a restriction." He said, "No. In Shabbos, I'm allowed not to smoke. In Shabbos, I'm allowed not to work. During the week, it's like you're forced to do these things. At Shabbos, I'm allowed not to do these things. So it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's not a restriction." Over here it says, these three levels are three different times. The Leil Shabbos, the night of Shabbos, Leil Shabbos, Yom HaShabbos, V'Rava D'Rayvin. So we have three times. We have the night, we have the day, and we have the Seudah Shlishis times. Is Rava D'Rayvin. It's called the time. It's a very special time. Ratzon HaRetzonot. That's what Rava D'Rayvin translate to in Hebrew. The will of all wills. V'chambuah be'emshech Tafri Samach Vov in the Amorim of the Rebbe Rashab, fifth Lubavitch Rebbe, Goydel Ma'alas Hazman D'Rava D'Rayvin. The Rebbe Rashab speaks about the greatness of this time, the time of Seudah Shlishis. Most people don't understand it. But the greatness of this time is every level in Seder Ishtalshelus, in the order of contraction. There's a desire to have this level. It needs to have a will in order for it to come into being. So everything has to start with a will. Hashem created Chokhmah, needed to have a will to make Chokhmah. Then He created Bina. Before He created Bina, He needed to have the will to create Bina. And so on to Das, Tiferes, and the emotions. And everything has to start off with Rotzin, with a desire. Wow. So when we say Rotzin Haretzoinus, when we say Rav or De Raivin, the will of all wills, what does that mean? By the way, when you say Rotzin is usually the Kesser. Kesser, the crown, is the Rotzin. For the next, for Chokhmah, whatever level it is, the Rotzin is the Kesser. In the beginning of all Ishtalshelus, the beginning of all this order of contractions, of all the different levels, there is a Rotzin Kloli, there is a one general Rotzin, not a specific Rotzin, specific will, meaning a general will. And what is this general will? It's called Adam Kadmin, Ak. Okay? In acronym it's called Aleph Kuf, Ak. That's the Rotzin Kloli. Meaning it's not specifically to create Chokhmah, Bina, or Das, or this level, that level. It's a Rotzin Kloli, general Rotzin. It's like I have a Rotzin to build a house. I have a Rotzin to build a house. What's in the house? Then I have to have a Rotzin Proti. I want to have a specific Rotzin. I want to have this kitchen. I want to have this floor. I want to have this ceiling. I want to have this roof. I want to have this, that. That's Rotzin Proti. I have to have a Rotzin also for that. Yeah. But the Rotzin Kloli is I want to build a house. Right? So there's also is the Kesser, the Kesser Proti, the individual, so to speak, Kesser, and the Kesser Kloli, the general crown. It's in the Tafri Samach Vov, it speaks about it. So Adam Kadmein Ak is a Rotzin of all the Rotzinos, the will of all the wills, and all the levels are comprised in it equally. Meaning it's the same Rotzin that I have to build a house, it's the same level as to build the kitchen. It's the same level as to create the bedroom. in there, in that level of Ak, of Adam Kadmon, all the Ritzonos are equally the same. There's no prominence or priority to one Ratzon over the other.
It's the same.
Right.
Adam Kadmon is connected to Adam HaRishon, or nothing?
Well, primordial man is the first man, but over here it's referring to Ratzon. Shiu me'ein ha'madrega yeser nalis, it's a higher level than Osid Lava. It's really a level that will be revealed in the time of Mashiach. Bringing Elokus, bring godliness into the world. Shalzeo Amur Rabbi Seinu Zal, the Rabbi said in Tractate Brachos, Shoelam Abo Ein Bo Lo Yachila V'Lo Yishtia. In the time of the world to come, there will be no eating and no drinking. The world to come. So it's self-understood that it's something that is superior, with no comparison at all to the days of the week. Nevertheless, despite of all the greatnesses, all the things that we said about Shabbos, which Shabbos contains all these three levels, we said the night of Shabbos, the day of Shabbos, and the Raiva the Raivin, and the time for Seudah Shlishis. With all these levels, it's emphasized that Shabbos is greater than the days of the week. There's still room to wonder why the spiritual service of Shabbos gives power to the days of the week. Seemingly, the Shabbos is here to serve the week. When we learn about the greatness of Shabbos, it doesn't make sense. Right? Shabbos is so much superior. How can it be that I'm using Shabbos to feed the week? Shabbos is feeding the week.
Doesn't make sense.
Right. The primary thing of Yom Shabbos is Nesinas Krach, is giving the power to do the awakening from below during the week. That's what we say on Motzei Shabbos. What do we say on Motzei Shabbos? Right after Raiva the Raivin, after this special time of Seudah Shlishis, what do we say? Al tiro avdi Yaakov. Said, do not fear my servant Yaakov. This is a statement from Yeshaya and Yirmiyah. Ki, why? Ki b'Shabbos anu bebechinas Yisrael. Shabbos, we are on the level of Yisrael. What is Yisrael? Sarkel, the minister of someone that was able to even win the angel, right? The minister. The name Yisrael represents importance, greatness, to be in a very lofty spiritual state. He doesn't have to deal with elevations, with sorting. Shabbos sorting is prohibited. He doesn't have to do birurim. At that time, as it says in Pirkei Avos, we are bonim lamokim. We are the sons to Hashem. We level of bonim. There's bonim and there's avodim. There's sons and slaves. At Shabbos, we are bonim lamokim. We're on a higher level. What do we say? Motzei Shabbos is al tiro avdi Yaakov. In Motzei Shabbos, so in a way we are descending. With Shabbos, we are on the level of Yisrael. Motzei Shabbos al tiro avdi Yaakov. We're descending back. Now we're still going back to Aveda Sabirurim. We have to sort. We have to separate. During the 6 days of the week, do the birurim, to do the elevations and the separations, bevriya, etzir asiyah, which are being done in the three worlds. Obviously, beside Olam Atzilus, you have Bria, Etzir Asiyah, the three lower worlds, that there is evil and there is bad, that we need to separate, we need to elevate. That's what we said, do not fear my servant Yaakov, do not fear from going down there, from dealing with these things. You have a week ahead of you of Avedas HaBirurim, you shouldn't be fearful. And he's given the power, Shabbos is giving him the power to do the Avedas HaBirurim during the week. And from Parshas Pekudei, that seals the book of Shemos, it's also Shabbos Chazak. We didn't mention it in the beginning, but it's called Shabbos Chazak because we are going to complete the book of Exodus, the book of Shemot. It's called Parshas Shabbos Chazak. From the book of Shmois we come to the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus. And we said Vayikra is always written with a small aleph because Moshe Rabbeinu was the humblest man alive, and he said, I want you to take out the sword that Hashem called Moshe. If the president calls me, it shows a lot of honor. Moshe Rabbeinu felt like it's not proper. Vayikra Moshe. To take off the word Vayikra. Vayomer, Hashem said to me, fine. Somebody said to me, but he called me. It's like he's calling me to his private place. He's going to have a private audience with me. Vayikra Moshe, he wasn't comfortable, so he said, so it ended up putting a small aleph there. Hashem said, I will compromise with you on the aleph. But Vayikra Loshen Chibur. It says, what is Vayikra? It's an expression of love, of kiruv, that Hashem is Hashem to the Jewish people. Like the Shabbos, it is a gift from Hashem to the Jewish people. Ve'alef zeiro, and it's written with a small aleph. Ve'loi kemo shekosu b'divrei hayomim, and not like the way it says in Divrei Hayomim, when it says the word Adam, it says in Divrei Hayomim, it says the word Adam in a big aleph. Aleph Rabbosi it's called. V'chadu asipur, and it's known, the famous story with the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, Shoal, it says, Keno, he asked the Alter Rebbe, he asked his grandfather, Madua Nemar Vayikra B'Alef Zira. He said, why the Aleph is small in the Torah? And Tzemach Tzedek asked his grandfather, V'yishu Rabbeinu Azorken, and the Alter Rebbe responded to him, Shezeu Biglal an Venusnusay Shel Moshe Chulu. This is because the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu, the nullification to godliness and going out of your personal existence. Bruchim to you.